On the seat, we have a woman who has quietly made sure Rwanda remembers its own creative story. She's a photographer, she's a creative director, she's the founder of Imigani. We'll talk about it in a minute. She's also the head of strategy and storytelling at Tory, and her name is Cynthia Butare. Welcome on
Thank
the
you.
Daily
Thank you
Upgrade.
for the warm welcome.
Yes. We are happy to have you here
Today,
today.
she looks amazing.
Yes, she looks amazing in the morning. How? First of all,
How do
how
you look that
do
beautiful in the morning?
Like, how do you do that? Because let me
Well,
look at myself.
I had a full weekend to rest.
Okay.
So, how was your weekend? What
My
did
weekend
you
was
do?
great.
Yeah, what did you do?
Not much. I was at home.
Yeah.
I had a friend coming over. I thought I was going to watch the finale, but I did.
You didn't? That's
I
why you look
didn't.
that good.
Yes. Now you see.
You had the time to rest. Some
This
of us
is
are still
giving
paying
us,
for it.
like, now I have the opposites in front of me. This is a man
Who is suffering?
who is suffering right now because
No, I thought I was just going to catch up with the highlights. I was hoping for friends to go to the finale, but then,
Okay.
same here.
yeah.
But
All right.
but you know what? I am still happy that Mbappe is top scorer at the World Cup.
Took the golden boot.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, nothing. It's not all lost.
Okay.
We always start the day by asking the highlight of your morning. What was the highlight of your morning? How was, is there something worth mentioning on your way here?
Not at all. All I
No.
can say is that it's a beautiful day.
Okay.
You
It
know,
is.
I rarely go out. I rarely leave my house at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was very, I don't know, the sky was very orange, and there's a feeling of, I can be very productive. I've been out of the house by 7:30, and I could do that more. But other than that, yeah, there's not much to mention.
Yeah. You wanna
It's very
you wanna
early.
join the 5 a.m. club?
I think it's a good habit. I think it's a good habit to have.
Did you enjoy waking up at this particular time?
I was prepared.
You were prepared?
Yeah.
Okay. How is the feeling?
Well, as I
Do
said,
you want to do it again and again? Or you
I guess
not?
I guess I could.
Mm.
But as I said, like, I think when you live in your house, nothing has started. It's the very beginning of the day. It feels very productive. You feel like you can actually achieve a lot today.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. That's
It is
beautiful.
a good feeling. I must say, by 10 a.m. you feel like it's the afternoon. You feel like you've done so much, and you also wake up with the energy of the day. That energy of the beginning that pushes you through the day so much stronger than it's a much stronger thrust than midday. Anyway, we're here with you, Cynthia, and thank you for being with us because, we love talking to people who have a lot to say, who are storytellers like you. But to start on a bit of a personal level, what's interesting is also your journey because you were born in Geneva, you studied in England, and then you came to Rwanda for what you thought was only temporary. And then here you are, more than a decade later. So, looking back, what convinced you to stay?
I didn't think I was going to stay at all. I think I grew up thinking I would just stay in Geneva forever. I Yes, I stayed in the UK for a bit. I stayed there for 6 years. So what happened is that first of all, before moving to the UK, my parents and my siblings moved to Yaoundé for my dad's work, and I'm the only one in my family that had not lived there. And so I think with that, I happened to travel a lot back and forth. I had been to Rwanda a lot, but that was my first time. I think being with them and then being in the day-to-day, there was already an element of, it would be nice to have that experience. I want to make myself clear. Yaoundé is very different from Kigali.
Oh yes.
But I think so. With that, I was already thinking like I don't have to stay in Geneva, so I moved to the UK for university, thinking it would be nice to study another language, and find then a great job in Geneva. My end goal had always been Geneva, but I think doing those back and forth in Yaoundé and being in the day to day with my parents, like grocery shopping, just things like that, going to pick up my siblings at school. I want. There's a time I stayed for 2 months and I wanted to stay longer, and then my dad kept telling me, this is not Kigali. Like, why are you trying to have that experience here? I could leave the country anytime, and so I think probably it started like that, and then at the time, so we're talking about 2013, I could see Rwandans that I've met on holidays moving back, and I think to me that was very new to see that. And also I guess just doing things I would not imagine that you could actually do. So I'm talking about back then in 2013, and so being a DJ, being a baker in chief, being in pilots, I could see all of those people, and I thought that was interesting. Not for me to make the move, but for me to do a documentary about it, because at the time I was doing my master's in documentary making. And so there's one summer, so that's 2014, I stayed for 2 months and I started this documentary. And as I was shooting, I realized that, it takes time to actually make people comfortable with you. And I realized that 2 months was just not enough to actually do that. And so as I was ending my master's, and, I just had to submit something to them, I thought, like, why not spending more time in Rwanda? And so I felt like my time in the UK was done. And so before moving back to Geneva for good, let me do a couple of months in Rwanda. And so that's what I did. And so I've never been able to complete that documentary. I still have the raw footage. I still want to do something with that. And what I like about it now is that when I'm going through the interviews, I listen to the question I was asking. I'm like, oh, that was cute. And so and yeah, so it happened like that. It was quite gradual, and quickly, obviously, I had to find ways to make money. And so, you get one opportunity, and so along the way, I think what made me stay is because I stayed for love. I met someone, and that love story, lasted 10 years. We got married eventually. That love story is now over, but that's something that in a lifetime, like, is important, and so you make decisions around that. So yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Interesting.
You now have archives of documentary of, I think it's also interesting how you can come back to it with time, because you interviewed people who are still here.
Yes,
I would love to see if you want to interview them again with a new set of questions, or I don't know what that documentary will be, but it seems like it will be even more interesting after 10 years. Yeah. So a lot of diaspora people describe coming back to Rwanda as coming home. Returning to Rwanda, they describe it as coming home. What surprised you most about Rwanda? Do you have a Rwanda that you imagined growing up, and a Rwanda that you live in now, and are they the same?
So I had been to Rwanda as a baby. I don't remember that, but then we started coming regularly since I was 7. So I always had a connection with the country, but also back in Switzerland, like I grew up with a lot of Rwandan families. But then, yeah, sure, not the same thing. And so I think maybe something that took me by surprise, even still now, it's just how fast Kigali or the country is growing, how fast things are changing. Like I remember coming here on holidays and people would be, I would say something like, oh, this area has changed so much, like new buildings, and then people would tell you like, oh yeah, like buildings they just grow like mushrooms. Even us at times, if we're not going to an area like that, like we would be surprised. And I think back then I was like, oh yeah, people are saying that, but what do they mean? And it happened to me as well. Like I remember with BK Arena, I had no idea about that project, and I never, I don't spend much time in Remera, and so one day there was this entire building almost completed, and I was like, what is this? It happened to me as well.
Yeah.
Even like the road by the 4-lane road close to KCC.
Yeah.
And so I think till this day, there's this element of, Kigali is changing so fast. Not just the roads or buildings, but even work. Sectors. I feel like a sector like mine has changed so much and is changing quickly, and people catch up. And I think that's probably what has surprised me the most.
Yeah, that's very surprising. That's very striking about Kigali. I don't know if there's many capital city like that keep changing and keep surprising even its own
In a
citizens.
very short period of
Yeah.
time.
But I
Yeah.
think that maybe some of it is caused by the decentralization that first happened, Before there used to be town where everything that you needed was in town. If you needed to buy something, anything, you'd had to go to town. If you needed to go to an office, MTN or anything, you would have to go to town. Then eventually each neighborhood had a
town.
franchise of a supermarket,
Yeah,
you had
sure.
like if you have a supermarket, it's everywhere. You have Simba here and there. At the time it was Nakumat. And then you have MTN or Tigo, it's everywhere. And then the banks as well started to be in every neighborhood. So progressively, I think neighborhoods never had to, you never had to really go to another neighborhood. Everything that you needed was in the same neighborhood. That's why most of citizens of Kigali, I think, started becoming surprised by going in a neighborhood and you find 3 new buildings and you wonder what is going on. That is a very common Kigali experience. Yeah. So did you feel, what about your sense of belonging? Because a lot of your work is touching identity, right? Especially in photography. So when you arrived, did you feel a sense of belonging, or is it something that you had to build?
I think it's still something that I'm building.
Yeah.
I think it's a never-ending quest. And I think, I'm very animated by that when it comes to photography. What kind of imagery I wish I had grown up with. I think that in my photography, I'm always looking at, a sense of poetry. I think as a photographer, it took me time to understand the kind of voice I wanted to have. But I think moving here, I think you can have the sense of belonging because you have your family. But then also I would say that I think when I moved to Rwanda, so that's December 2014, so many people had made the move already. So I didn't feel like I was the only one. And so I think there were so many people in my circles that I could relate with. And I think that was comfortable. It felt like a soft landing. But sure, with work then, I think definitely work is just an experience that you don't have if you had your only experience with Rwanda is coming on a holiday. And I think there was something of, having all of these people around me looking like my parents, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, and then now they are colleagues. I think I had never had that, and so there was a little bit of an adjustment here, but also how we all want to see this country growing. I had never experienced something like that before.
That sense of unity in the will
Yes.
to build.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't experience something like that in Geneva or in the UK. Like, there's no reason for you to be part of something like that. So there's definitely something emotional with it.
I see.
Ndu Munyarwanda.
Yeah.
You feel it in you.
Yes.
With that
The
sound.
campaign
whatever.
has worked.
Yeah, it has worked. It has worked. I mean, it's part of your job. So you understand. You understand the successful campaign when you see one, right? It's really nice. It's really nice, the sense of belonging that Rwandans have managed to build in such an heterogeneous society that, you come from here, you come from there, we all meet here, and then we have this one thing that can make us belong, and we no longer belong to a place, we belong to a cause. We
Yes.
belong to a dream
Yes.
that we can build together. So when you say you had your soft landing,
Yes.
because you had so many other people like you who had been returning. But does that mean how is it today? Are you still in the comfort of the soft landing, or did you open yourself to meet also other people that maybe are not from the diaspora and are, come from different backgrounds, were here before?
I think I had to do it with work.
Mm.
I think work is definitely something that had to push me a little bit. I think so. When I moved to Kigali, I started as a videographer, and with that, doing a lot of camera work, and being female as well, I found myself working a lot with NGOs, and doing a lot of campaign work, a lot of testimonials, things like that, for issues about girls. And so I'll have people reach out to me because they found me online. They see this Rwandan living in Rwanda and doing that without knowing that, I was new in the country, that I couldn't speak Nyarwanda, and so I will be sent in different parts of the country, and then I always have to have someone with me to do the interviews. And so I've had clients being surprised, and then I had to explain my whole background. But with that, so I had to travel throughout the country. But then after year 5, I started working for RDB, and I was mostly working on Visit Rwanda campaigns. And with that, it's capturing a lot of content. So that means going to all national parks. And with all the conservation projects that RDB Visit Rwanda have, you have to meet people. So I would say that for that, especially when it comes to work, it's been very, very diverse. But even working in a place like RDB, because it's so big as an institution, people have different kind of backgrounds. You have people from different cities of the country, but then also the colleagues I had, they have different kind of paths. And so having grown up in neighboring countries and others in the West, just like myself, and I think RDB on its own is such a melting pot. So in December it will be 12 years that I moved, and so in 12 years for sure I've met a lot of people.
Yeah, I can imagine. Dixon will have many questions for
Oh,
you
definitely.
when we come back from this break. Dixon, I hope you're ready.
Definitely, I just want to know the relationship with the camera, with filmmaking, with the stories. When the day you fell in love with that, I would
Right.
love to know that.
Okay.
Definitely when we come back.
Every morning, one guest, one story.